Okay. Now we're live again. Hopefully this should work. Oh, it says... Oh, we got a message from one of our guests.
Are they still waiting in the lobby?
Yeah, they are still waiting. I know there should be more people that are showing up.
Okay. How many do we have in the lobby waiting for now? I'm guessing it 3.
Hold on. I have so many windows open. Gotta find it. Right, so we got 3 people.
Okay.
We could let them in and get started, and we could do the icebreaker, and hopefully, another person will join in at that point.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So let's go. Let's go. I'm so excited. All right. Hello, hello. Everyone setting up their audio?
Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
welcome.
Nice seeing you all.
Sorry for being late. I've been trying to connect, or was there an issue?
No, there wasn't an issue. We just had everyone wait in the waiting room
Oh,
until
okay.
everyone arrives. So it's okay. You guys were all on time. And thank you and welcome back. I know some of you might not have been here from last week, but it's okay. We'll go through everything that we need to. And feel free to ask us questions if something is like confusing. But anyway, so everyone knows me. I am Melanie. So I am the co-founder of the Collective Studio. You might have seen me from last week, and I'm here with my co-facilitator Claire, who's also a co-founder of Collective Studio. So Claire, say hi.
Hey, everyone.
Um,
Hello.
and maybe a little bit of background on yourself for those who are not familiar with you.
Sure. um, I am a freelance product designer, and I've been doing UX for a bit over a year and a half now, and I've been running sprints with Melanie since. Has it been a year now, right? It's been a
Yeah.
year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've been running sprints and just to educate new students, aspiring designers to learn more about UX design, and we come up with curated topics. Like this time, we came up with Secret Santa because we just want to be a bit more festive since it's the holiday season. But yeah, I'm like located near New York City, Big Apple, so I'm just here. And yeah, I've been really busy lately, so but life's good. And yeah, I'm on the server
Mm-hmm.
a lot. So if you have any questions about UX, um, how to jumpstart in the career related stuff, or just anything that I can help you in my ability, like you feel free to reach out to me. My Discord name is listed on the sticky notes. It's Kuma Claire, so just feel free to send me a message.
Great. Thank you for that. And yeah, I'm Chocolato on the server. My name is Melanie, and I'm also based in Toronto, Canada. I don't know where everyone else is from, but yeah. Um, I know we have a lot of participants from India, so it might be like really early in the evening or really early in the morning there. But for anyone who's joining us from anywhere in the world, thank you for being here. So, anywho, I guess we could just cut to the chase and start off with our icebreaker, just so that we can warm up, get to know each other, and understand the functions of Miro a little bit better. So, for those of you that are a little bit new to Miro, for this particular icebreaker, we need you to upload an image of either a holiday gift, birthday gift, doesn't matter, of something that you got that was really, really memorable, something really cool that you got. You could also post a picture of just like the product. Like you don't necessarily have to upload images of your own. You could also find images on Google. So for this activity, we have a timer set for 10 minutes. What you could do is look for an image on your computer and upload it to Miro. And to do that, it's very simple. There's a toolbar on like the left-hand corner. At the very bottom, there's like an icon with like a square and an arrow. That's to upload. Just click on that, find the image on your computer, and then it should just drop it right on the whiteboard. Does that make sense? Yep. Cool. So I am gonna get this timer started. Great. 10 minutes from now, just find an image of something either gave or received, or both. Add it to the board, and then add a sticky note with your name so that we know it's you.
Melanie, I think
Yep.
there's an option to play elevator music.
Yeah, I'm wondering how to do that.
I think you can set that in the icebreaker.
In the icebreaker.
Yeah, just double check. Unless it's not available.
Yeah, there's like pause, restart, edit, see full agenda. I mean, I do have like Spotify Premium, but I definitely don't want to risk getting a copyright strike on YouTube. And I did check out that site that you gave me, but like I got an error when I tried to log in. So I'm just like,
Oh, really?
oh man, I don't have time to figure it out. We'll sort it out.
Okay. Because
So,
I know there's one artist. I think all of their music, yes. Fiji Blue, it's the one artist that you can basically play all their stuff, and they have really good music.
do you have a link? Maybe I could drop the link into the
Also play,
playlist.
like old stuff, any like classical or anything like that that's old.
Oh yeah, because that stuff would already be considered like public domain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not even. There's probably old stuff that's not classical.
Do you want the Spotify link to their profile on Spotify, or?
Just like a playlist, a specific song, you know. That way I could just put it into the music playlist and it'll play through Butter. But just checking in on Caroline, is you okay with the icebreaker? By the way, you are on mute, and the quickest way to unmute is just press the letter M on your keyboard, and it'll just there you go.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if I put the settings on correctly. I never used Butter. Yeah, I was just I was looking to see where I had to put it because the board was really like zoomed in, so I didn't know where I was. All
Yeah,
right,
it's okay.
I found it, so.
Cool, awesome.
I've noticed you can also just copy and paste images in if that's quicker than uploading the file and downloading it.
Yep, copy and pasting is much quicker.
Alrighty. So are we cool? We good? It looks like we're ready. Um,
Okay.
so I guess I'll start off from my corner here. The best gift that I received for Christmas, I got it through Secret Santa on
Nice.
Reddit, right? If you ever heard of Reddit gifts. So I participated in that. I gave a gift and I also received one from someone who was anonymous. So I got an anonymous gift of like a bear onesie, which was the coolest thing ever. And that's just a picture of me chilling, being a bear for Christmas, which was like my dream to just wake up in the kitchen and just be a bear for an evening. And then I also gave a gift to someone on Reddit. Um, I pulled up their details and I tried to give them like a lot of things that were relevant to them. So I think they had uh, uh, like a baby that was like less than a year old, maybe a few months old, 6 months old. So I bought them like a little onesie for Christmas, and I got them a yarn set and some books. So they were pretty happy that they received that. So I think these are awesome gifts that I both gave and received from last year. And Claire, do you want to talk about
Yeah.
yours?
Um, so this was actually from 2 years ago before the pandemic hits. My friends and I did a white elephant. Not sure if everyone had done white elephant before, but basically it's a fun Christmas present swap game where everyone brings a gift and you can bring whatever you want. It's just within the budget, and then you place the gift in the middle of the room with everyone, and then each person will pick a number to go. So it will go from, let's say if you have 10 people, will go from 1 to 10, and first person will go pick up their first gift that they like. They open it in front of everyone and see if they want to keep it. First person has to keep their gift, and then the second person can go open their gift and see if they like the gift that they pick. If they don't, they can steal from the person before them, and this continue on until everyone has opened their gift. And technically, everyone can steal gifts. At least one gift can be stolen at least 3 times, but the third time it's a lockdown. So when it's been stolen by the third time, you cannot like steal anyone. So that gift is locked in like with you. So it's really competitive. If let's say if you saw a gift that you really really like and someone else has it, and it's like on like only the second steal, you have to be very strategic about it. So it's a very very intense Christmas game. So I played that 2 years ago with my friends, and I saw that there's a Bob Ross, and I was like, I want that. That's such a cool gift. So it was stolen twice, and then the third time I steal it back. So it was mine. So it was super fun. And I tested it out. Obviously, you can tell from the side product, I was able to make, to me, it looks more like a pancake, but it was still pretty cool. Like, it's like shaped like Bob Ross, and, everyone loves him. So that's like one of my favorite gifts that I received.
That is awesome. Oh my god, I love it so much. And yeah, the fact that everyone had to steal it, that's always like a lot of fun. A little bit of pressure,
Yeah.
but so if I understand correctly, everyone had to like open the gifts already. So they get them, it's already wrapped, it's unwrapped, and then you
Yes.
start stealing. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the first person, whoever picked number one, the first person, when everyone has opened their gift, they can steal. Like, they have the option to steal again. But then
Mm.
by that point, people, if some of the gift that they want has already been stolen 3 times,
Mhm.
then they cannot steal that one gift anymore.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like a luck based game, but it's like very very fun.
Oh, okay. Cool. And Brady, do you want to talk about what you got or received?
Sure, yeah. But I just also wanted to mention that white elephant. My family's tried that a few times, and that it really is a lot of fun. It's really engaging too. Usually, for years, our family would get together and just kind of open presents and say, "Oh, thank you, next," But this is something that kind of got everyone laughing and kind of yelling at each other and fake playing and fighting, and it really is a fun thing, that white elephant. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
really
Yes.
glad you brought that up. I had forgotten about that. Mine is, I mean, it's just the king of all gifts for me. Growing up in the 80s, when the Nintendo came out, I mean, it was just, one of the most memorable Christmases for me or any of my friends growing up. It's almost hard to even think of another gift. Like, I've gotten lots of clothes and socks and jackets and
Yeah.
things that I wear and use throughout my life, but nothing was kind of as defining as the Nintendo when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a terrible gift giver, so I haven't really given anything as awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely the first thing that pops into mind.
That is awesome. I know.
Nice.
That was like really hype when Nintendo came out. Oh
Oh
gosh.
yeah.
Um, Caroline, do you want to talk about your gift?
Okay, sorry, my computer's giving me some issues. Um, yeah, this is the first thing that came to mind is because I love doing crafts and I just like I have like a lot of nervous energy, so it helps me to do like cards and things like that. And once the Cricut, I don't know if anyone knows what it is. It's just it's like it's a die cut machine. So you go into like Photoshop or anything, and then it has its own program. But like you can do like these amazing designs, like these cutouts, like really great looking cards. I made this like amazing like mountainscape kind of accordion card for an ex boyfriend of mine, and I don't know. I it's one of my favorite gifts that I got, and I was able to use it. Like I use it all the time. So it's one of those things where I felt like it was like really beneficial. And I mean, it's the one thing that came to mind too because I mean, I've gotten different other gifts, but this one always like I actually gifted it to somebody else as well, and it
Mm-hmm.
made their day. So I'm like, this is the kind of like the gift of all gifts for me and for people who like crafting. So
Alrighty. That's awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Is
Really
that like
cool.
is that called like a circuit or cricket or something like that?
it's a cricket. I used to call it
Okay.
a Cricut, but it's a cricket.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Wicked
I would love
dope.
one of those.
Alrighty. We went a little bit over time, but we still have. Maybe we could like do like an extra minute just to vote for like the best gift, and then we can move on to our next phase or our next activity. So to vote, we could just do something simple like use an emoji. So if you don't know how to use Miro, there's three dots at the bottom. Click on that. Um, and then scroll down to where it says stickers and emojis, and you can actually just pick an emoji and drop it onto the board. Sort of like what Claire has done right now. So vote once for like the coolest gift, and we'll see who wins. So I think this is the coolest gift because like it's Bob Ross.
I was torn. I love Bob Ross.
I think we
Okay.
voted.
Okay,
It's
so
a
it's a
tie.
tie. It's a tie. Well, objectively, Nintendo is better, so it's like, yeah, I think Brady wins.
Again, yes, I agree. I think especially now, like the old consoles are like sort of coming back as like a vintage like thing,
Mm-hmm.
and people are like trying to like get back into it playing this game. So it's pretty cool. So I mean, I love both. I love get gifts. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Like I need like if you send me like a random Nicolas Cage like meme like pillow or something, I love it too because it's hilarious.
Hmm.
I mean,
Oh.
I still have my Nintendo, so
Yeah.
and all the
Oh, you
games
love
because my mom used to collect them. She loved Nintendo. She would get all the systems every time it came out and have us play it. So it's a little PTSD for me, but I still love it. I still have all the games and the games I couldn't beat. So it was fun. It's still fun to play it. Still trying to hook it up to the TV, which gets difficult because we keep trying to have to buy new parts for it, like to adapt. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's so totally true. So we got one more guest joining us just in time because we're actually about to start the sprint now.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brothor, hello. I think they're setting up their audio. But just in case you're having difficulty with the mic, just press the M button on your keyboard and it'll actually unmute you. And you can toggle it to also mute yourself. Alrighty, so we're done with the icebreaker. So let's just jump into what's next on the agenda, which is recap of last week. So for those of you who missed last week, we had a video kind of like going through what we did in the sprint. But if you also missed that video, just very roughly, we did a how, what, why kind of map to get an overall understanding of what the users are facing in terms of their issues when it comes to buying a Secret Santa gift or any kind of gift for that matter. And overall, we understood that as a team, that when it comes to difficulties of making buying decisions, there's a lot of choices. Um, there's a lot of ways that people can go wrong when giving the kind of gift to someone that they either don't know at work or at school or whatever. And we also did a brainwriting activity to kind of think about specific kind of features that we could use to help users solve their problems. Okay, so as for what we're gonna do this week, basically we did a brainwriting activity here where we actually came up with a bunch of ideas that we could help users to kind of solve their problems. And we're going to take that into this session, try to figure out more constructively how this is going to actually meet the user's needs and how it is that we can actually build this into a potential app. That's to say, if we were acting like a freelance company or a small studio or whatever, we might have to think very critically about how we can actually make these design decisions and then put it on the Kano model. But before we do that, we're also going to talk about the persona map, which is something that Claire has done a bit of research on. So she's actually interviewed some users that are kind of like coming from different parts of the states, but they all have similar problems where they have issues finding the right kind of gift for someone. And I think Claire can explain that bit as well. But so far, do we have any questions right now as for what we did last week? No questions? Cool. I guess I could give Claire some space to talk about her personas. So let me just move forward through the agenda. Start the timer again, and
All right.
you can go.
Okay, so for those of you who are fairly new to UX design, persona is an artifact that we use a lot, especially in the user research phase. And basically, persona is a fictional character that we create based on the research that we conducted to represent different user types that might use our product in a similar way. And in UX design, creating personas will help us to understand our users' needs, experience, behaviors, and goals. So some of the user research I conducted recently, where I basically drafted some questions in pertaining to Secret Santa like behavior and habits that users have in the past and their frustrations. And from these interview questions, I will gather the data and find out exactly what are some of their pain points and what are some of their goals. And if you look at the persona chart right here, again, this is a fictional character that we created based on the data pool that I collected from. And basically, here we have Jennifer Tran, right? So Jennifer is a single, outgoing junior developer that lives and works in New York City. She loves celebrating Christmas with her colleagues, families, and friends, and spoil everyone with gifts. In the past, she often finds herself struggling to buy the right gift and had received some disappointing gifts from her Secret Santa, as the person doesn't know much about her. So she is a developer and she works in a startup and she utilizes mobile application and desktop. So she's always finding ways to improve her Secret Santa experience. So she has used like this other app called Elfster and then also Amazon Gift solution where she tries to like find gifts based on the parameters that's been provided by the Secret Santa recipient, and of course Pinterest and Google and Instagram for inspiration or for some social media stalking to figure out what the person like. But she finds that really frustrating because it just takes a lot of the time to figure out what the person like, right? And for example, if the person and her are not close, she thought the gift might be impersonal, and this is really, really frustrating for her because sometimes you can receive gifts that's just not as meaningful. to the person, or like they might not even like it, or they might not even find it useful. And then she also have experienced the same thing too when she received gifts from people that they're not familiar with her. And so she gets indecisive sometimes too by trying to find the right gift. And another frustration that she has, it's like she's not able to basically pick the person that she's close with. So let's say if she's trying to do Secret Santa with her colleagues, she wants to pick a coworker that she already knows. And so for some reason, because it's randomly drawn, so she was not able to pick the person that she wants to gift it to. And another frustration she has is that sometimes if the person just like writes out exactly what they want, it sort of takes the fun out of it. Like, instead of like having a cool, genuine surprise of, wow, this is so cool. I never thought I would want something like this, but it's such a good gift. But it would just be like, oh, it's just a gift that I would just get you because it's something that she wrote on their wish list. So and some of her goals, including, of course, finding the right gift without revealing to the recipient, and most importantly, get some recommendations or inspiration to get the right gift for the person, figuring out their likes and dislikes so that they can find something that caters to what they want. And of course, like I said, want something to be useful and unique and make sure to stay in the budget. And lastly, like I said, because she wants to make this a good experience, she wants to be able to match with people that she personally knows and cares about.
Mm-hmm. This is good. Little bit overtime, but before we move on, do we have any questions about this persona or just persona maps in general?
I'm curious if we can know about what questions and how the interview processes worked.
Yeah. Well, I would you rather me to save that for like a later on, or you want me to explain this now? It might be a bit more
Oh
lengthy.
yeah, I was just wondering if it's available, but if we can talk about it
Yes,
right
of course. Feel free to stay afterwards, and I can explain better to you because user research
now.
is a huge part of UX that it probably would take more than like 5-10 minutes to
Mm.
give you like a brief overview. So, but feel free to stay after, and I can explain to you.
Great, cool.
Cool. Alrighty. So let's move on to the next part, which is Kano model and prioritizing the sticky notes here. So how many of you are familiar with this model? No one. Great. So, so yeah, Kano model is like a way for us to prioritize and also visualize our kind of goals and objectives, and also try to figure out whether the features that we've created on these sticky notes here are actually meeting the user's needs. And when it comes to determining like whether a feature is kind of like cosmetic or superficial, this is also like a good like talking point for us as a team to kind of delegate and figure out whether these features are actually going to be relevant to the user. So when we are making decisions on the Kano model, we should also reference it to the persona here to keep our mindset like aligned, so that we're not actually like going off on a tangent and thinking or assuming things about the user. We actually have a model here of what the user's frustrations really are and what their goals are. Okay? So does that make sense? Just say yeah. Cool. Thumbs up.
Or
It,
you can do a react button here on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah, there's like a reaction here. You could just
Yes,
click on that and just be like, yo, thumbs up.
agree. Well, I love this.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
there you go. You got it. Cool. Wicked. Um, so from last week, we did a brainwriting exercise, like I said, and we have these sticky notes here that pretty much are like the best voted ideas from our brainstorming session. So what we're going to do is try to figure out where these stickies belong on this matrix here. Maybe to break down some of these goals here, because we have like, we have the upper corner here that we have to figure out, and also these lines here. What does that mean? So basically, we're trying to solve the user's problems. We're trying to get their needs met. Okay, and
So
the
sorry, Melly.
yep,
I think Caroline has a question.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I
Go
think you're I
ahead.
think you're gonna answer it. It's just because I don't know about the Kano model. But, I mean, this looks like the 2x2 because I've done some of the research, but like the lines were confusing me, like the dotted lines.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So I'm gonna.
I'm guessing you're gonna explain that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
thanks.
So yeah, so for this, we're trying to create like a lot of impact for the user. So we want them to use this app, we want them to love it and to continue using it over and over again, or whatever our long-term goals are. Let's say if we were like an agency or whatever, we might have to think about that and put it on this map. So obviously, when it comes to some of the criteria that needs to be met, I'm just pointing it out here. Anything that's on this upper corner here is going to be satisfactory for the user. And on this side here, it says feature requirements cannot be executed. This is a case of what it is our capabilities are as like app developers or designers. So if we have an amazing feature that is really complicated and expensive to actually implement, then this is something that is not likely to be executed. And then we need to plot this down here on this map, okay? And the curves here, it's sort of like a trajectory of like where ideas should be. So on this upper curve here, this is like ideally where we want our ideas and our features to go. And then on the lower end, this is sort of like the undesirable area. This is where we don't want to be. We don't want to be coming up with features that we can't execute, and we don't want to be coming up with features that also don't meet the user's needs. Okay? So that's all it is. It's just pretty much like an average of like, hey, this is like in the middle, right across the board. This is like good enough, but we're trying to be a little bit above that. Like we're trying to make an exceptional app, not something that's middle of the road. Very let's just say generic. But anyway, these lines though, it's not like 100% truth. So it's like there could be a case where our perceptions may be a little bit off. We might think that a feature is actually impressive to the user and solving their problems when it isn't, which is why we need user research. And every time that you launch a product or anything like that, it always has to be like constantly monitored so that we can actually progress properly. But that's just another area. Like if you were to work for like an agency or at a company, they might use this model to be making decisions. Okay, so for these sticky notes, I know some of them have a lot of great ideas, but I think Claire, do you want to maybe copy some of them and just like break it down a bit more so that
Mm-hmm.
we can start to pinpoint where some of these sticky notes should go? Because a lot of these ideas, they're great, but when they compound, it's a little bit difficult to determine like what part of that idea is potentially useful and what part of it may not be potentially useful. So we're just going to break it up and figure that out. But for the first sticky note we have here, this says create a group of users with a budget. This is a simple idea. I don't know who made this one. Was it you, Brady, or was it someone else?
No, I don't think that was mine. I'm looking up at the.
Okay. So I think someone had the idea of,
I think that was
yeah, I think someone had the idea of through this particular app, this gift giving app, a user can, I guess, create a group of users with a budget. Okay, so this is the case where like perhaps an employer who's using this app for their team, they would set a budget for everyone in the office or whatever. And this is going to be useful for, I think, making sure that the criteria is kind of like established from the very beginning. So if you have a Secret Santa event for your staff, you might want to set a budget of like $20 or $50 or whatever it is. And we might have to think about whether this is actually solving the user's problems when it is in relation to Jennifer Tran and her situation. So let's just go back and look at the persona very quickly. So she says, whoops, that was a mistake. So she says here, what are her frustrations? So gifts are impersonal. She has a hard time picking gifts due to indecisiveness. Based on her salary, it seems like she won't have a problem with budgets. So I would kind of think this type of idea, although it does seem like it is solving a problem, I think it would belong maybe down here I don't know how you guys feel about that, but Claire or anyone else, how do you feel about this sticky note or this
My
feature?
first thought is whose budget are we talking about? Because the sticky note kind of seems like you're more setting a budget for the participants,
Yeah.
whereas the persona is more talking about the budget for this project or the budget for their celebration. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me clarify that. Yes. So usually, I think it's a rule for Secret Santa. Usually, it's not like you should buy, I don't know, like $1,000 worth of gift,
Yeah.
right? It's usually when you set it up, you tell everyone, hey, so let's just set it at like a $40 budget or
Mhm.
$100. If you want to do bougie, you can be higher. Or economical, you can do $25. So I think that's um her frustration is sometimes there are some gifts that it's probably more expensive that she wants to get for a friend or for someone that she picked from Secret Santa, but it's she wants to keep it within her budget that still cater to their needs and their wants,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I mean, at least with a budget too, you're able to kind of it narrows down the search field too. Because I
Mm.
mean, there's so many possibilities when there's not a budget, but at least one of her frustrations is like, all these some of these things. I keep moving things. I'm sorry.
It was okay.
One of these frustrations is like, worrying that something's not meaningful. But like, if you have more time to think about within the constraints and limitations, maybe you'll be able to come up with something better. Because I think there's like the whole theory where it's like you give a user too many options, and all of a sudden you also cripple their ability to do something, right?
Mhm. Definitely. These are all valid points. Um so I think we could raise this up on the scale here. The reason why I put it down here as like not meeting their needs was just because maybe I am assuming, because when I look at this particular user's profile, I kind of think to myself, is budget like the highest concern, or is it more like the novelty of the gift that is the highest concern? But I know, Claire, you've done the research behind it, so if there is more to it, then definitely I could reconsider that opinion.
Um, yeah. Sorry,
I,
someone was speaking. Caroline, right? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And I was gonna say because under goals, she wants to stay within a budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would think it would probably be a little bit more. It would be important. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know. That is her goal. That's definitely true. So yeah, sorry, I overlooked that because I was looking at it from the terms of like what are her frustrations and how can we resolve them. But yeah, if it is her goal, then this is something that we do need to keep in mind. So the goals and the needs, they're kind of like, yeah, I guess they can go hand in hand. So this would be a higher up then. Okay, I changed my mind. But when it comes to the feature being fulfilled, I guess it's more of a point of aggregating the search results based on the budget. So I think someone mentioned that. So I think it would be more in like this area then. I think this is something that we could do. Okay. So first sticky note. How do we feel about the position? Like Claire, do we think that this is um like good position? We agree?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
All right. So for the sticky notes here, group members can be invited to join event slash assign a partner. So we're talking about users using this particular app, right? I don't remember who made this idea, but if I understand this clearly, um, this would be for organizations. So I'm assuming group members would be participants or other colleagues. Um, and I guess within the app, be assigned a partner. Okay. I think that's okay. I think I make sense of that. I think this is what this person was trying to say in this sticky note. So yeah, I mean, having a centralized place where all of that is going to happen, this user needs to know who they're gifting, right? And yeah, that process should be as easy as possible. So I think the feature of having a join link is kind of like solving the problem of maybe accessibility to some extent, like to be able to like I guess, join this app quickly, get an answer on who's you're going to be gifting to, or, you know, I think maybe that's it. So where could this be on the map? I'm thinking something like that can be easily like implemented. And if it actually does address the user's needs, it probably would be. I don't think it would be higher. Well, I think it's sort of on the same level as budget because I still see these things as like, yes, they're very important, but ultimately, is this like the highest priority here? Because I think the highest priority for this particular user could be, if I'm looking at their goals, let me just look at it again. Yeah, they really want to know the person, and she really wants to make a connection with that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think knowing who she's going to be assigned is going to be like a bit more important than the budget. Only because this user has enough money to fit within this budget. I don't think it's going to be a struggle, especially if you're going to aggregate content to them. But I think it's more important that they need to know who they're gifting to. So I think this would be slightly higher on this map. How do we feel about that? Everyone, Claire, like we good?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think because one of her pain points is ideally if she's able to be assigned to someone that she knows that and who she cares about, this whole experience will be more meaningful to her. So having that option for her to be able to pick someone that she actually know within the pool of like Secret Santa, that will help her.
Okay, cool.
I also see this as kind of the core of anything. Without being able to invite anybody and assign partners, there's really no relationship. There's no. That's what Secret Santa is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we're trying to also like be put into consideration of like, you know, some Secret Santa you might be doing that with a group of people that, you know, you might not know all of them, but you only know one or two person, and so if in some ways you can be matched with the person that you're comfortable, that you know you are close with, that will make them you'll give them a much better experience.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think just throwing out there, but like if it's like a work situation, depending if it's the whole company, I don't know what the size of the company would be or anything, but like usually the people you interact with is more like not necessarily your team members, but probably your own division kind of situation. So maybe to help break it up, that would help too in terms of like just the basic understanding of people that they interact with all the time should probably be grouped together. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. I have like interesting insight or experience with that because I've done a bunch of Secret Santas with people that I work very closely at work, but a lot of them I actually don't like. So,
yeah, you might know them, but not necessarily like them.
right. So it
It's supposed to be
depends.
about holiday cheer. It's supposed to be holiday cheer.
Yeah.
This is where you make bridges or
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
you forgive
I
people.
totally
Yeah.
understand. Yeah. In my case, the only backstory I can share is because I worked for a while, I worked in luxury retail. So I was paired with this like really old like senior sales executive who, you know, makes millions of dollars a year
Oh
from
gosh.
sales. And so
Yeah.
me being like an operational coordinator, I was just like, I don't know what to give him because I feel like anything I give to him is not gonna mean crap.
gum. Just get some gum. I had to work with many of those people too, and at some point I was just like, just gum. I was like, this is to show how much.
Yeah,
exactly. They have
if you can
everything.
just chill and stop talking, that'd be great.
Yeah. that is a unique point, a unique insight.
Again, that's
That's cool.
one of more unique incident, but yeah.
Okay, so for this sticky note wish list, there isn't any explanation. I don't remember if there was an explanation that went with this.
I just broke it down from the sticky in here. It says input occasion budget and then check out wish list, and then based on the user's input in the quiz. So it's a wish list, a preference quiz, and then also budget and occasion entry.
Okay, so let's just say like user submitted Whoops. There we go. User submitted wish list. Okay, that way, okay, I think I understand this. Yeah, so this would also help with the experience of creating a novel gift, like, because this particular user wants to give something meaningful. So I think this will be helpful in her making that decision, right? Is the feature easy to implement? I think so. Oh yeah, thanks, Claire. Oh, was that you, Claire, that made the
No, no,
screenshot?
that's I think that's Caroline.
Oh, oh,
But this is me. Just honestly, I was having a hard time scrolling back and forth and looking at these at the same time, so I thought I'd.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Here, we can move over here.
I
Make
I
things
just have a
easier
question for
everyone.
the user submitted wish list. Now, is it like items like as you would like an Amazon, like gift list, or is it like a list where it's like, oh, I usually like things where experiences where it's like a guest pass to some type of hiking thing, or then
yeah.
like is it like actual products, or is it like the things that people like and don't like, oh, I don't need any more kitchen stuff, like please don't get me
Mm.
kitchen stuff or gum, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that was the attempt of like the preference quiz is to sort of like figure out what it is that the users want or don't want. But I guess for this particular exercise, we can then expand on this feature idea and make it more concise so that we have a proper understanding of like where we can fit this. Because the wish list could be many things. It could be a user submitted wish list. It could be something that's integrated, like connect your wish list from Amazon or other places where your wish list is public and there's a link for it. So we could do that. We could think about integration. Whoops. Integration with like Amazon. Where else? eBay or maybe another e-commerce platform.
Etsy's pretty big with gifts.
Yeah, Etsy.
Oh.
Anywhere there's like a hyperlink to a wish list. It could even be like a wish list that's like created on someone's blog. Just as long as there's some way to like connect that information to the user's profile and keep it organized. So I think that would be helpful. But user submitted, we could also think of it in terms of like text, just straight up text, like, hey, this is what I want, and type it out. But then there's also the integration part, which is capturing that link and bringing it into the app. So both of these things are going to be like, well, one's going to be more easier to design than the other. So I think like the text submitted kind of like wish list, I think that would be like a feature that's easily fulfilled. And then the integrations, I'm not a back end person, I'm not a developer, but I would imagine if there's some kind of API that we need to use to create wish lists within the app, like to visualize it so that it looks like they're just inputting information from one source and then you can actually see it displayed on the screen. If I need to refer to like a developer on how to implement that, then I would think that would be a little bit difficult to execute. Just from like my own standing point, like I would need to involve other people, so I don't know how to like make that happen. So I think that would be difficult to implement.
I'm not a developer either.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of web development, and I don't think it would be that different. You're really just kind of you get the. I don't think it would be that difficult if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think so either. As long as you have the source, knowing where you're pulling the data from.
Yeah, they want you to do it, so they make it really easy for you. They pretty much just give you the code to throw in instead of
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no. When I think about difficulty, it's not in terms of like, is this challenging? Like in general, it's more like, does this require more work? Like, is there potential that this could fail or there might be errors and it needs more work, right? So everything that we do, yes, there's a potential for failure, but I'm just thinking of it in terms of like a lot of, let's just say, like even if we were sourcing this information from Amazon, I'm thinking of like, how is this going to look on the screen? We have like we need to have an image of the actual product, and we need to be sourcing information about the title or the name of the product, perhaps maybe like reviews and stuff like that. But if we get another source, like another link, like Etsy, and the way that they organize information is completely different, then we might have to consider, like, okay, well, how are we going to be sourcing this information so that it looks consistent on our end? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, like, that's the thing. I'm not a developer, so I wouldn't know how to articulate that precisely, but I'm just thinking of it in terms of, like, okay, if I were to design this and implement it, would I be able to do this easily? So I'm just thinking, if it's not, then this is where another person's expertise would come in. So that's
I'm
what
not
I would determine as being difficult.
sorry to keep bumping in. I'm not sure if we're supposed to do that, but I'm not sure if this is really the time for like ideas. But I'm thinking of a middle ground between these two, and like if someone's typing in the text, but the text can be included with the URL. URLs come with like a featured image typically, so even just text can kind of integrate. If you type in a title like I want a dog house, and then put in the URL, it could create a really nice within the styles of the program. Create a nice integration that way too.
Yeah, we could do that. So we could put these sticky notes closer together because they are related. And again, like when it ranges on like how difficult things are, it's not going to be like 100% perfect. But yeah, we'll just, I don't know. Does this position seem right for most of us? Like Claire? I want to get through the rest of the sticky notes very quickly.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, cool. I think we're going to keep that there for now.
Yeah.
Preference quiz.
So I think preference quiz is a very good way to address one of Jennifer's problem, just because one of her frustration, it's not the biggest deal, but at the same time it does affect her experience, as in she want to be a bit surprised by the gifts that she receives, so I think a preference quiz would be a very good way to start to let the Secret Santa know exactly in what area they can search for. It can provide a macro overview of what the person likes, and then while still keep the element of surprise. I think.
Okay. So I think it would be like around the same level as like these guys here. I mean, it's gonna look a little bit cluttered, but let me just like make it a bit smaller so we can fit it all in. Maybe higher up in terms of like actually addressing her needs, because this is gonna lead to her making a purchase, right? So maybe
it
I'll
also matches all of her frustrations too.
Yeah. Okay, so budget and occasion entry. So competing with the other sticky note here, which is that whoever is creating this group activity through the app, it's usually like a manager. But if the user were to use this for other occasions, then they have the ability of like creating a budget and an occasion as well. So for this particular user, is it just for the holidays that they need this app? Yeah, I think it is. For this particular user, I would think so. Is that also what you think, Claire?
I mean, well, for this particular challenge, yeah, we're just keeping it with just
Yeah.
Secret Santa occasion for now.
Yeah.
Of course, I think like in a business perspective, like yeah, you can probably expand the potential of the business opportunity to more other different occasions than just Secret Santa.
Yeah.
But I think for this challenge for now, I think it's fine to just focus on that.
Yeah. Like it's relevant enough in general, but specifically for this user, maybe like not the most impressive feature to have. But let's just say it can be executed. It's just not going to be high impact for this particular user. And in any case, like realistically though, there wouldn't be just one persona that we'd be like looking at if we were to actually develop and launch a product like this, we would have like multiple personas, and that would change ultimately like what kind of decisions we'll make. But for the case of like keeping it simple, yeah, we can just keep it here. Not particularly like off. It's not off topic, but it's just less impressive. So we just put it down here. Um, this one, this sticky note says a group organizer can invite other users via an invite link or email. Magic link makes it easy for people to log in. I guess this is to do with like the how this app is going to function. So obviously it needs to be usable, and that is going to like overall create an impact, but I don't think it's going to address the user's needs like right off the bat. Like it's important to have, but I don't think it's going to be like impressive.
I think it's one of those features that's it's a good to have for the usability, for the user experience overall.
Yeah.
But
Well, the way that I think about it is it's obvious. Like obviously the app should function. So that needs to happen. But you know, we're focusing on the user's needs, so it's like yes, of course we can implement this, but it's obviously like not going to be the end all be all at the end of the day. So I'm going to put it maybe a little bit lower on the user needs. Like yes, it needs to be functional, but like that's like the bare minimum. Like it should be obvious. Okay, so I think we're on time. Oh wait, no, we have one more sticky. I forgot this one straight away over here.
oh, that one is just the no, we already did that because I
Oh.
expanded that into the.
Oh,
sticky,
okay,
so
cool. We don't need this. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Wicked.
so we're good. We just made it in time.
Okay. Alrighty. So to keep this consistent, let's just say when we come to creating a prototype for like the end of this session or into next week, we'll keep these top sticky notes in mind when it comes to visualizing that. But before then, we're going to move on to the next part of our agenda, which is user journey maps. This will be fun because we're all here and we're all just going to focus on one breakout session. Shoot, I forgot to put the sticky notes in, but let me just quickly do that while, oh yeah, we have a break as well. Sorry. So on our break, I'll set up the user journey map sticky notes. We'll take 10 minutes off. We'll come back and we'll get started. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Let me just restart the timer. So 10 minutes from now, we'll jump right back in. So do what you need to do, stretch, go to the washroom, have something to eat, play some music. I wonder if I can play some music now. Hey, Claire, do you have that link?
Yes, I sent it to you on Discord. It's a Spotify link though.
Okay. I think that should be okay.
Their music is royalty free, so.
Oh, I didn't get the Spotify link. Did you send me a direct message or did you like post it somewhere on the server?
Facilitator Lounge.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, got it. Wicked. Okay, hope we don't get striked. Fingers crossed. Aw, it says it only takes YouTube or SoundCloud. Okay. That's cool. Or maybe we can just look
I
for...
think we can play elevator music in the break time though. You can check.
How? I don't know.
You should be able to toggle it on the side.
Yeah, these are the toggles that I have. I have music playlist, polls, breakout,
Or you can-
whiteboard.
Because I've done it before, and then you can play music directly from here. I just picked elevator music at that time too. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I just not finding it. Like I'm pretty sure you're right, but the way that they organize this, it's not that easy to do. Anywho, let me just set up the sticky notes. Whoopsies. Ah. Claire. I forgot. What are the devices used? Whoops. For this user or this persona? Okay, mobile and desktop. Got it. Wicked. I'm just going to fill out the first part of this exercise so that we have some context as to what we're doing. And Claire, just a quick question. Because I know we didn't have time to like overview this, but the consideration stage, seeing as this is like in the context of work, we are assuming that the user's boss or manager would probably set up the Secret Santa app. Like they would set it up for their team and should be on board because of that interaction, right? So when it comes to the consideration stage, it's not like she's considering other apps. We just assume this is the app that she's given to use and she will use it. I think Claire is not here. Maybe I'm just being crazy. All right, let me just block this out. Silly me. Whoops. Hey, are you
I'm
there,
back.
Claire?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I stepped
Okay.
away for a bit.
Yeah, sorry. I was talking to you and I'm like, oh, wait, I think she's on break.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I wiped out the consideration section because, like, if she's using this app because her boss or her manager is using this app for the group or for the team, she
Yeah.
doesn't need to consider other apps. It's like this is what she's given to use, and we assume that she's going to be on board.
Yeah, we decided for this
Yeah,
criteria for this challenge. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So it'll be just awareness. So she'll learn about the app from a colleague and then usage. And then loyalty, as in she might use this personally for other things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I just filled up half of this so that we have some context of like what we're doing here.
Okay.
All right, so 10 minutes is up. Is everyone back?
I'm here.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for Brothor and Caroline.
I'm here.
And I think Brothor is having issues with his mic, so if you could just give us like a thumbs up, let us know you're here, and we'll get started. So Brothor, you want to give us a thumbs up if you're here? Okay, that might mean they're not here. I think we're mostly here, so I think we should just jump in. And if Brothor joins us, we'll just we'll help him get caught up. Okay? So, okay. Let me just start the agenda. This is going to take us like an hour to do, so we can take our time. But basically, for the user journey map, this is a stage where we're going to be considering what the user may be experiencing when using our app. And then this is also a point where we need to consider pain points as well as pain relievers. Because anytime that we implement any kind of feature or we have any kind of app that's supposed to solve the user's problems, we need to think step by step what the user is actually going to do before they use the app, as they're using it, and afterwards. And obviously, if we want this user to come back and to use this app again, we might have to consider how they're going to utilize it in their actual lives. So I think there's different ways of doing user journey maps. There's not like a particular model that's like precise. I've seen hyper condensed versions of this. This one's a little bit detailed, but you know, we'll take it for what it is, and we'll try to make use of it for this particular sprint. I just blocked out this phase here, which is the consideration stage, because we're assuming that this user is at work. Their supervisor or their manager or boss is going to use this app for their team. So she's not going to be browsing different apps to see whether this is the right one for her. It's going to be assumed that she's going to use this app because it's been given to her as like a tool for her team. Okay? Do we have any questions before we jump in? Nope. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So I've already filled out a bit of this section just to give you some context as to like how we're going to be filling this out. But every point here, every stage here has some criteria that we need to fill out, like the user goals, actions, touch points and channels, emotions, pain points, blah, blah, blah. And at the top here, for awareness, we have user goals for the awareness stage. So we need to think about what the user actually is trying to do at this stage. So I put a sticky note here that says get registered, because if she's a new user and she has not used this app before, she just needs to get registered, sign up with her email perhaps, and get matched for potential people that she's going to be giving a gift to. And underneath this is actions, and this is going to be where we're going to put a sticky note and talk about what the user is actually doing. Like, what kind of actions are they making? Like, are they clicking on a link? Are they using the app? Oh, wait, this is kind of in relation to touch points, which is kind of like confusing because actions and touch points are kind of like interrelated. But to keep it within the context, she's going to be using a magic join link, because I think that was mentioned in one of the sticky notes as a feature, as like a way for her to jump on board and get signed up and registered right away. So she's going to be using that link to join this app, and it could either be on mobile or desktop. I figured we don't have to be super specific about touch points as long as we clearly know that the user has one of these two devices, and it's likely that she'll be using them at any point of her journey. Emotions is kind of where we kind of think to ourselves, like, how is the user really going to be feeling when they land on the registration screen and when they get signed up and using this particular app. But to keep it in mind of the stages is helpful, because we want our user to feel pleasant at every state, but we also have to be like 100% like honest that like not every action or thing that's going to be taking place on the user screen is going to make them feel super positive. So obviously, to keep this emotion positive, we need to consider the pain points and also come up with some pain relievers as to how we can, avoid the user being frustrated using the app. Okay? So for this part, it's pretty easy. She's going to get registered. She's going to use the magic join link. She's either going to be on mobile or desktop. She could be at her desk at work. She could be on her phone. Any one of these things could be a possibility for her. She's probably going to be neutral, and I don't have a neutral face, so I just have like a very basic smiley. So she's a very positive person, so I don't think she's going to be like super, I don't know, bored, but she's, open to trying this new app that her colleagues are all joining in on. It might be a discussion at work, so it might actually be, somewhat pleasant, right? Pain points. So we need to think as a team, what could possibly go wrong at the registration stage for this particular user?
Should we be saying these out loud, or?
Yes, please think out loud while you're typing. Yeah. That's one of the thing about like brainstorming session in UX design. We always want to like let other people know what we're thinking so we can communicate better.
Yeah.
And ideate better.
So we're typing these on stickies now, or just discussing it?
You can also, well, hold on, Melanie, you're just doing an intro, right now? Before,
yeah, like we have a sticky note here, so I could type it in. But for the next one, we could always just like type our own sticky notes as we're voicing our ideas, discuss them, and then put them on the board. So right now I have this kind of pre-filled out so that we have like an understanding of how we're going to build up to this. But for the next one, we could start writing on sticky notes and adding it to the board as we're discussing it. Okay. Yeah. So I will type out this one for you. So for pain points, what are the possible pain points? that this user could experience when trying to register?
Not being able to access their email.
What do you mean? Like,
I'm just thinking in probably, a common pain point with registering for anything is like confirming your email address and that whole process.
okay. Yeah, because like when it comes to confirmation, like emails could be lost, especially work emails. People get thousands of messages a day, and yeah, the email could be lost. So I guess it could be issues with, because I know that's happened with us for this particular sprint. Sometimes confirmation stuff can just like, yeah, fall through the cracks. Um, that could be a possibility. Um, Another possibility could be,
Like if she, let's say she wants to, because a lot of these like registering things as well, you can register it through Google or like your Apple ID. If they have to kind of, sometimes when I have to fill out an entire thing and I'm trying to get something done, it's just frustrating to, if I didn't, if I wish I had the option to just sign in with a different user, kind of
yeah,
messy.
yeah. That's the thing. Like if the registration form is too lengthy, people are
Yeah,
at work, right? Like if you're at work, you're busy, you probably don't want to fill out, oh, put in your name, your email address. It's like, redundant, right? So that could be
yeah,
annoying.
yeah. Especially when the forms are like, they won't let you proceed. They won't let you go to the next like registration screen until you fill out certain things. So it's like
Mm.
you kind of if you don't want to decide to put your picture up or divulge certain things, you could there should be an option to skip, and most of these don't have an option to skip, so you have to keep filling them out so you can keep moving on with the registration.
Yeah, not being able to use the app right away. That's a good point. Yeah, sometimes you could use apps without confirming or verifying your email, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
might limit you from doing things, but it won't stop you from like making a profile, right? So that's also
Yeah,
interesting. We don't want people to like use the app and then be like, oh, I'm too busy at work. I don't have time, right? So to be able to just jump in, make a profile, and not worry about the email confirmations and stuff like that, those are all things to consider.
yeah. I think you can set up later, or you know.
Exactly. Like they could confirm their email later, like after work or when they're on their break, right? But to get started, it should be like super fast, super simple. Those are all good points. And then pain relievers is SSO. So someone mentioned logging in via
Mm-hmm.
Google or like, I don't know, Facebook or something. Or Gmail. Yeah, well, Gmail would be like part of Google. So yeah, one of those things. SSO sign in is definitely a pain reliever that we could use for that. And then for too lengthy of a form, we could keep the registration brief and concise. So only ask for maybe mobile number or email to sign on. Because mobile number might be a little bit easier if people are using this on their phones. It's a matter of just getting
Mm-hmm.
a text message to say, hey, confirm your number. It's all done, right? And what I've seen
Yes.
before on other apps is that like if there's like some kind of authentication code for security, just be like, hey, send me the code so I can log in. As soon as it's sent, especially on iOS, you could be on the screen where you need to input the information, and it'll automatically just source it from the text message you got. So you just press one button, copy and paste, done. Right? So I think that's also, pretty good pain reliever. Um, So, Claire, do you have any thoughts? Like, do you think we're ready to move on to the next part, or do you think we could add something else to this section? To either pain relievers or pain points?
Yeah, I think that's good enough. It's the
Yeah, we got the
the
point.
Like in the discovery phase, yeah.
Okay. Right. So now we can start to explore the first usage stage. So this is going to be the first experience the user is going to have. After they're registered, they might be taken to, I don't know, personal quiz, or maybe, yeah, maybe the quiz could be integrated at this point, because it's like, this could be the opportunity for people to build on their preferences so that they can start like getting matched with people in the organization. So instead of everyone just like joining and they're all blank, empty profiles, it could just immediately start the personal quiz stage to get a sense of like what your likes and dislikes are. Right? So that could be like, that's an idea that I think that we could like go with. How do you feel about that, Claire?
Yep, that's fine.
Cool. So at this point, what are the user's goals? So I said something about the quiz. So let's just say, start inputting, I guess, likes, dislikes, and yeah, preferences. Let's just say
Yeah, I think I would
preferences.
probably just say that maybe having, yeah, exactly, preference quiz or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Anyone else? Caroline, do you have any idea? Yeah, like
No,
sort of put yourself into Jennifer's like shoes.
yeah,
Like,
I'm
let's say she's-
thinking.
yeah.
I guess I would say like preference quiz. There's like it's like a customization kind of situation. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I'm a little slow to the game right now.
Okay.
And yeah.
Can I say an idea?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Okay, I was just thinking. I don't know. Any difficulty the user might have. She doesn't seem like the type that would have difficulty, but maybe like an onboarding, I think is, or an option for onboarding or tutorial on how to use the app or what it does. Something that can easily be skipped.
Yeah, that could happen before inputting dislikes, right? Um,
I
So
think
maybe
that
that's
would,
it. Maybe
would
that's
be,
it. Maybe we need
would
to
be
think
first
about.
experience.
Sorry?
No, I think that would be a first experience though, right? They just launched the application on the
Yeah.
website. And then they have like, and they would brief with like an intro on the next step or what they can do.
Yeah,
Just a
because
short tutorial because you have the scope of people that would use the app, especially in a workplace, because it ranges from people with like difficulty doing anything to people who are really,
yeah,
you know,
that's a valid point. And this is kind of where we can start moving some of these sticky notes around. So the preference quiz could be at the next stage here, which is regular use. We don't have to necessarily follow this verbiage. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a regular use, but this is like a step that comes after learning through the onboarding stage, right? So
Could they
onboarding, it's
onboarding?
necessary. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Could they both be part of the first experience? Because that would lessen the confusion. Because regular, I feel like that would be a second time you wouldn't have to do that again. The
we
inputting.
can modify it though. I feel like.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
like
right.
I'm trying to modify it so that we could have a clear distinction between like the onboarding process and
Gotcha.
the actual use of like developing your profile. Just
Okay.
because they're two different things that could be like, I guess, looked at as the same thing, but we also want to like understand that the onboarding process is a process and it can go wrong and right in different ways, and we should maybe separate
Yeah.
it from the quiz because there's going to be different actions taken on these stages. So that's why I said like ignore the verbiage here, because it's like,
Sure.
I created this template for other exercises, so for this one it's a little bit different, so we're going to modify it a bit. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool.
For these sticky notes, are we putting more than one into these categories, like user goals, or is it we're just trying to focus on one, like the get registered or inputting? Is it just like one key goal, and then we're gonna build from that?
Yeah, so the user's goal in this phase of the first experience or the onboarding experience, that's
Mm,
what we're focused on right now. So
okay.
we were just
Mhm.
determining on how to split this up because when we're
Mm,
entering in the user's, I guess, experience or their mindset or whatever, we need to think very consciously of what they're actually going to be experiencing when using this app.
okay.
So yeah, the goal for the user before was to get registered. So great. Now that they're registered, what is their next goal? So the next goal should be to learn how
Onboarding.
to use the app, right? So
Mm-hmm.
learn, I guess, how to use the app. Um, and again, learning to use this app is going to help her to make the next action, which is to create a profile and to also get matched, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there could be other goals at this stage as well. But no, I think learn to use the app is yeah, I think that's pretty much what she's doing at this point. Um as for the next stage, which is like not the next stage, but like the next talking point is actions. So we need to think about like what actions is she going to be making on the screen when learning to use the app. So I think someone mentioned a video
I don't know.
or a
I wouldn't go.
demonstration.
Yeah, I'd do like a demo. I think a video is just like we're going back to the idea that she's at work and she has to like
Yeah.
can't hear a video. She can't really see a video.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everyone's doing this, but like sometimes it's like not great to look to be watching videos on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
depending. So but I think like usually I've seen the good ones to be like they're pointing out to you what certain things are and they kind of scroll next. Right? You know what I mean? I don't know the
Oh.
I don't know the formal verbiages of anything. I just kind of describe it. And for some odd reason, I'm also using hand motions, but I don't have video on. So
Yeah, yeah. I've seen onboarding tutorials that are sort of like they show you what your profile is, and there's little prompts on the screen that says, "Here's how you do this." Click on it, and you
hmm
immediately click and you start making progress, right? So it actually takes you
yeah,
through the process of how to set
Mhm.
up your profile whilst you're learning how
I
to
think
use the app. Mm-hmm.
I think that's called if I again I'm not sure. We'll have to double check, but I think that's called like a guided tutorial.
Guided tutorial,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So write these terms down.
So we could have like a guided tutorial. That would lead to making actions, and then it's more likely that the user's going to like
Hmm.
actually use yeah, because that's the thing about videos and stuff like that. It's a bit passive because it's like you have to sit down, remember, retain that information. But to actually do it, that's going to be more impressive because they're actually going to be making decisions and choices. Because they're going to be kind of
Yeah,
forced to do it, so they kind of have to. Um, but then it also could be annoying if they can't skip. So we should also think about that option as well. So, okay, guided tutorial. Touch points, most likely mobile or desktop. Um, could be interchangeable. It really the experience I think should match. Doesn't matter what device the user is on. But it could be modified. I don't know, because definitely like desktop behaviors and mobile behaviors are going to be different. So, for example, if something requires you to drag, click and drag, or anything like that on a desktop screen, that has to translate to mobile. And if it doesn't make sense on mobile, then it has to be like designed differently for those uh for that kind of scenario. But then let's also think about emotions. What kind of emotions could this user be experiencing when going through a guided tutorial?
I think for the most, I think people, at least for me, if I'm really trying to just really see an app, I'll like grit through the tutorial and then have to do it when I'm actually frustrated and not knowing what I'm doing, unfortunately.
Sorry, could you
Okay,
say that? Yeah.
that's
Like
actually very interesting. So you don't really, so for you, like in your experience, you would prefer to not being handheld unless you run into you know, blockage of not knowing how to proceed.
yeah, because I mean, I know the guide tutorial is like good, but like if I'm really in a hurry, I kind of just keep pressing next. I'm like, I get the gist. And then when I go to
Okay,
do something and I get stuck, I'm like, oh great.
right.
Maybe
So I
I
guess
should have,
yeah,
yeah, just stubbornness.
gotcha. So I guess in this case, it's like unskippable guided tutorial. I think that would be like some pain points for some people.
Yeah, I was gonna say like at least make it easier so that you can, because we do have the guide tutorial, but like have a way to reference back to how to do something in case
Yeah,
you forgot. There's another one
yeah.
that.
I think this is a very interesting pain point though, because I think for a lot more younger users, or at least like anyone that's like in a millennial, Gen Z, younger demographics, because they grew up with technology, that's something that they would probably prefer to be skipping because they're so
Mhm.
used to, interacting with an application. But let's say if we have someone that's a little bit older demographics, like older
Mm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
they might need that. So I think it's a very interesting it is a very interesting perspective. Let's say if we're designing, because in this case now we're designing this for Jennifer, who is obviously younger demographics, but if we are designing this for someone that's older, we have to put them into a different category in considerations.
Yeah, I totally agree. So let's do it like this. Let's look at pain points and pain relievers, and then go back to the emotions thing because it might make more sense once we have an idea of like
Mm-hmm.
what this experience can be like. Then we can summarize a feeling to go with that. So non-skippable tutorials is a valid point. However, to think more on like the positives, it's also quite possible that when a user goes back to their dashboard or their profile, there could be some prompts like an icon that says help me or something like that, or something to make the experience less ambiguous so that they're not looking at a screen thinking, well, what am I supposed to do next? Right? And then the same thing with like the whole preference quiz. It's like it could be stopped and start it could stop and start at any time, but perhaps there could be prompts on the screen to kind of give hints as to what the user should be doing, because the user is trying
Um,
to get like get matched and also give a gift, but we don't also want them to completely ignore everything and then not know what to do when they come back to the app. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great point.
I was, I was gonna say too, like even in like dating apps, they have like, well, your profile. I mean, I'm not sure where this fits here, but it's like your profile is like 85% complete
Yeah.
because you can skip certain things. So
Yeah, definitely. So we could do the whole percentage complete. Whoops. Ah, there we go. Um, Sort of like a completion bar, right? Like I forget what it was called. Like
yeah,
a
the
progress
progress.
bar. Yeah,
Yeah.
progress. Um, Also, when it comes to the pain points, let's just also mention um, just user just short on time. They just don't have
Mm.
time to observe an onboarding thing. So then the solution is also to make it skippable, right? And then the solution of having helpful hints and stuff like that is to address people who um, I don't want to say short attention span because that's also a mass generalization. Sometimes people just they have the attention, they just don't have the time. Um,
Or both.
it's a bit of both. But let's just focus on like the aimlessness of like returning back to the app after you skipped. So if there's nothing prompting them to make a decision, that could be a pain point, like not knowing what to do. Right? Not knowing what to do after skipping tutorial. Because that could definitely happen.
Yeah, probably like a prompt saying, you know, to get started, you know, do the preference quiz so that we can start matching you up right away.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay. And then returning back to emotions. So considering that this person might be, you know, sharing this experience with people at work, I think there might be some intrigue. I don't know. From doing the guided tutorial. Maybe it won't be the most exciting point of her experience, but perhaps the app itself might be a novelty.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I said, yeah, I was going to say, like, there's, like, intrigue about how the app works and just initial fascination, at least.
Trying to find a good emoji for this.
The thinking face?
I think this one. I don't know. I like this face. It's like, oh, okay. It's not super excited, but it's also kind of like cheeky. Like, okay.
What about this one?
That too. That's very clever.
It's like trying to navigate around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're older, you really need to
Oh, getting a kiss.
Yeah, it looks like they are kissing. But yeah, I think this one just pretty much like, yeah, this summarizes it completely.
Yes, it is definitely like an investigative phase, like learning about the app.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
Do
also
you have anything else that you want to add, Brady?
Oh no, I'm just following along at this point. All good points.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
This is it Rajesh? Do you have anything else that you want to add? I know your mic is muted, but if you want to type something out in the chat.
Oh yeah, Brothor.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from them.
Yeah. Again, feel free to type anything out in the chat if you're having issues with your mic, so we know your thoughts, and we will be happy to put it on the board for you.
I didn't hear from them after break, so I don't know if they're here. If you're here, just like do a hands up or thumbs up.
His cursor, it's still here.
Okay, okay. I see a thumbs up.
Okay. I guess no questions or no feedback for now.
Yeah, but he's here, so I'm just wondering, does he want to contribute to what we are discussing? Or we could just move on to the next one and we can ask him again. Okay, let's just do that because we're already 30 minutes in. Yeah. So we might finish early, which is okay. But let's just take our time and go through the last two phases here. Okay, so this is still part of like the usage stage, but we're into the actual usage of the app. So we're now done with the tutorial. Now we're actually inputting information that's going to help this user to make a decision. Okay, so thinking about it in terms of like the last point, which is reusing it, let's also think about how the user is actually going to put in preferences and also make a buying decision. Thinking about it now, it's like this probably could be stretched out, but considering that we have so little space, let's just try to condense the usage and actually buying a gift into this part that we're focused on. So this is the goal where user is trying to input likes and dislikes. It could also be, whoops, my bad. It could also be a stage where
I think
they
they
could
can
be
also
matched.
like enter the event information, the budgeting,
Yeah,
like
but they're
organize like the matches that they're gonna be doing.
matching partners.
I also like this. I mean, depending on what's on the app, but like maybe because you if you establish a budget, maybe like also something like potential ideas that you can jot down for whoever you matched with, so that you can keep it concise in one place. You know, does that make sense? Like almost like a list. You're keeping a list of like potential things that you were thinking about buying for that person, so that you have an
Oh,
easy
like
list on your phone.
right. So like a shop list, like a to-do shop
Yeah.
list. Okay. That could be. Yeah, that could be part of it. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let me just quickly add a sticky note. I realize the shortcut commands are a lot faster than just grabbing a sticky note. Yeah. So short list slash to-do list or something. I think those are all like features that could be included in the app, but let's just try to keep it concise and focus on one of the two things that this user really needs, which is she needs to know who she's buying for and she needs to know what they want because she wants
Yeah,
to make
agree.
a favorable impression, right? But it is quite possible that they might need to-do lists, and this is a case where it's like, okay, we could be thinking about alternative features, but if we're making like
Down the
a
line.
yeah, down the line we
Yeah.
could worry about that. But yeah, so inputting preferences, matching with partners. Budget would be established. So I'm thinking to myself, I mean, it is something that she needs. It is I don't know if I would I don't know if I would like think of that as a goal because if that's already been established, this is a goal that's already been met. Like it's not like she's trying to figure out the budget. The budget's already been set.
Yeah, I think like it's just part of the. I guess maybe it comes with whoever's setting up the occasion. Cause obviously, set up the occasion and then the budget. It's like almost like the basic
I guess
need information.
Yeah, I think this is like a concern that a manager would have, which is to set the budget because if they're creating this event for their team, that's something that they'd be concerned with. But the user, once they join using the magic link, which would have been created by their manager, the budget's already been decided. So I don't see that as like a thing that the user needs to discover. It's more like it's been decided for them and they can see that information there. That's already like addressing her needs. But when it comes to actually making actions, it's like, okay, what's more important is she's going to be seeing information that's going to be related to the budget that she's put under, if that makes sense.
So with a quick question with the matching partners, I guess you'll see. I guess a manager would match the partners, and then you would. I guess it would become I don't know, side by side where like the person and then their whether or not they did their preference quiz, right? So that they can get the person who signed up can get started.
Yeah, because typically with Secret Santa, the matching is done randomly,
Yeah.
if I understand. And this is the case of looking at it from different users' point of view. So it's like if you were to create a Secret Santa group, then that's an action that the group owner would be concerned with is how are we going to match? But in this case, this is the user joining in as a participant. So they're not in control of how the matches are made, right? What their main concern is who am I going to be matched with and what should I buy, right?
Gotcha.
So
Yep.
that's what I think is like most important. for this user at this stage. And yeah, and in the context of like how user journey maps are kind of used within like the workplace, it's like you might have multiple user journey maps depending on how many personas that you have. Because like the user, if there are like let's just say if this is enterprise software and it's directly related to businesses and stakeholders, it's like yeah, their experience is going to be different from a casual user that's going to be using it for different purposes. So for this particular user journey, I think we're focused on what's her name? Jennifer Tran? Yeah, so we're thinking about her particular experience. So she's not in control of who she's matched with. She just wants to find out who it is and what to buy for them. So, yeah. As for actions, what actions would she need to take? So, I think it's pretty self-explanatory based on what we were talking about. She needs to do the quiz, right? So that is going to be an action happening on the screen. So she might be inputting information either by just selecting multiple choice, or depending on how the questions are phrased, this is something that we might have to explore a little bit later.
Like a survey.
Yeah. Survey, like multiple choice or some kind of input fields. So she'll be working on input fields, surveys with like multiple choices and stuff like that.
And then we can probably just do, put preference quiz too in there because that's one of the.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Like to.
Yeah, no, but preference quiz can be the.
Okay, yeah, I'll change it from
action,
survey to like preference quiz.
I guess.
Yeah, got it. Preference
No, you can
quiz.
keep whatever you had there too, but I was just adding on.
Well, it's more specific. It's all right. So preference quiz. So she's going to be interacting on mobile or desktop. I guess it could be the same throughout because it's even if I think about like my own interactions using apps like Miro, it's like sometimes I'm using browser, sometimes I'm using the app. So it really could be either or at this stage. So what else is the user doing, especially when it relates to matching partners? This could be experienced on a dashboard or perhaps like it could be part of her profile, right? If we're thinking about the dashboard as the profile, it could just be a referential information that she should see every time that she logs in. You know what I mean? Okay.
I don't think it needs to be hidden. Like there's no need for it to possibly to hide it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then the short list, to-do list, it's like, where would she be seeing that? It would be attached to whoever her partner is.
Wherever it says, it's like, oh, what are you thinking of buying? Like, you put down some additional ideas or links or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be all on like the dashboard or the profile. Like all the information that she needs to know about her partner and preferences, it could be all on one screen or
I think
similar screens.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
To keep it just simple.
Yeah. So we have preference, quiz, which could be like a separate screen itself. It could be like a pop-up or an overlay. And the profile and dashboard is where she's going to get all this information and link out to either the to-do list or link out to the quiz. Okay. I think that makes sense. Brothor, do you have any suggestions at this point or any thoughts? Just type it in the chat, or you can use a reaction, raise your hand. On Butter, you can actually just, use the Q icon and just be like, hey, I have an idea, and click on that. So I'll do it as an example. Hey, I have an idea. And then I click on this mic to give you a word. Cool. So next part is okay. We'll get to the emotions last. So let's just jump into pain points. So lots of things could go wrong with the quiz or matching partners or anything like that. What are the things that could prevent this user from progressing further?
If like certain questions are unskippable, like they can't kind of skip that one question and then kind of come back to it. Because if you don't know at the exact moment, you're like, I need some time to think about it, you know.
Yeah, so if it's not skippable, that could be a barrier. I think if the quiz is just too long,
Yeah.
because not everyone is going to be interested in quizzes. I mean, some people do. Some people love it and they could spend hours on it. But like, there's some people who are just like, I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. So
A
if they're
quick
not
question.
engaged,
Oh, sorry. Quick question. Now, I'm not sure how well this fits into this, but like, in terms of matching, if the quiz is too, because it can be either or, and I can't think in my head, like, could it go in one direction where the ability or some of the multiple answers or whatever are not like catered enough or not like specific enough to what people like, but are it's easier to match, or if like people can make it more customized, but then it's harder to match. Like I'm not sure which is the lesser of two evils. If I explained it correctly.
let's see if I understand this correctly.
Sure.
So this is more about the criteria of the quiz, like not being
Yeah.
thorough enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Either if it's, I feel like I'm not sure which one would be worse. Like if it's very thorough, but then it makes it much harder to match with people, or if it's not thorough enough and people just they don't feel like they express their preferences.
Right, 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 right. So like when you pull up someone's profile and they didn't fill out their quiz, it could just leave the user even more confused, right? They're just like, I don't know what this
Yeah.
person wants, and they didn't put any hints or anything. Yeah, that could definitely be a problem. And then maybe not with like irrelevant questions or whatever. It's more like, um, I guess we have to be making sure that we're asking the right questions to begin with. So
Yeah.
if we're asking the user to input information about what their likes are and we're just not asking them things that are relevant to them, then that could also create a problem. Like, for example, if we ask them a question about movies and films and we only give them three options like horror, comedy, and action, and it's like, oh, I really like foreign films, it wasn't a choice, so then they just skipped it. So, yeah, we don't want to limit people and give them like such rushed kind of options that they just don't feel like we've captured their personality or their preferences properly. Um, maybe the quiz could be a way to, I'm thinking, kind of gauge the most basic and common interests, and then to go deeper into that, they could provide like a list, like a shopping list from Amazon or something like that. Because we also have to simplify this process for the person who's inputting this information. Because if they have to labor over trying to express their uniqueness, then the quiz might not be relevant to them. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Maybe like a way that where, at least for the initial purposes of matching, um, like try to find questions or like just to gauge like a baseline, and then that people can later go in and elaborate further into. But for the
Yeah.
purpose of matching, it'd probably be better to do like, well, this is like our, you know, first course or something, quiz, so that we can match you. You later on you can expand on these so that the person buying the gift can have a better insight on what you like.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the thing about yeah, let's think of it as like also potential pain relievers. Because if there is some kind of, I wouldn't say criteria, but some kind of deadline in place, like before you get matched, you need to fill out your preference profile at least to some level of degree so that someone can buy a gift for you, right? But then there are cases where users, let's just say a user was like, I don't know, sick for like an entire week and they just haven't used the app. It's like that might be a legitimate reason why they have not filled in their preferences. And then they might be missing out on getting a gift because they didn't say anything about their preferences to begin with. So this is a case where it's like, okay, does the process still move forward even if people have not put in their preferences? You know? So
I think that in that case, I mean, I'm guessing it should be really encouraged with like maybe some type of like notification saying, oh, you really want to fill out this quiz or you want to really add to it. But overall, if someone doesn't really fill it out, I mean, the idea before with Secret Santa is that we're I guess in my head we're elaborating or improving on the idea of Secret Santa by making it easier to actually get a gift.
yeah,
But if the person doesn't kind of show up for that, then it just kind of resorts back to what Secret Santa kind of is. Like you know who it is, but you have to take a stab in the dark. I guess
right,
I
right.
don't know how to like properly address that concern.
Yeah. So I think what you said about having a quiz that has some baseline questions is like the bare minimum that someone can contribute to be part of this Secret Santa game, right? So I think I like that because it's like, okay, it gives people the most basic idea of like what you want. And then if you really want to get a better gift, then if we have notifications prompting people to put more information in, then this will also make it easier for the user that's buying a gift to actually give them something that's like I guess impressive, right?
Um, yeah, with any type of I don't know how this would where this would apply in the process, but like I guess there should be like a timeline because people still have to buy the gift. Does that come into play at any point, or is it afterwards?
Yeah, you know what? That could be a concern with whoever is managing the group if there
Mm-hmm.
is a timeline, because every office is going to be a bit different in terms of like how long they're going to take to actually, you know, start giving these gifts. Um, that could be something that maybe whoever has created the group will be dealing with. But the user, I don't think they're going to control when Secret Santa is going to happen because it might be a decision made on behalf of the department or supervisor maybe making the final choice.
Mm.
I've been talking a lot. Claire, do you have anything to say? Cause we're at like 49 minutes, so I don't want to
No,
yakety
I
yak.
think yeah. Let's move on to the next section. I think we cover. I think we raised a lot of like good consideration points. But
Okay, well let's try to finish up these sticky notes here. So we have three
yeah,
problems. We need to think of three pain relievers. So okay, so we can't obviously solve every problem, but let's keep it concise to this particular user and just think about what it is that they're likely to face. Okay, so the fact that it's not skippable, quizzes are too long, not engaging. Um, right, so we need to come up with baseline questions, maybe keep it concise so that it's relevant to the user enough. Um, let's just say notifications to kind of
Uh,
prompt the user to elaborate on their preferences.
and maybe just to notify like a way to like signal to the user that the baseline questions are just to help match or something. But you can always go back and elaborate on any of your answers so that
Yeah,
they don't feel like they're
yeah,
pressed to get all this stuff done. Once
yeah,
it's done, it's done. But
yeah, exactly. So we'll communicate that clearly to the user at this stage. Okay. Um, what else? So pain relievers is okay. So let's just say the preference quiz is needed for matching because this is obviously going to be a relief for the person who is gifting. or sending a gift or making a gift. And then emotions. What could the user be feeling when they're going through onboarding, looking at the preference quiz? Um, for this particular user, because she's so happy and cheerful, I'm just hoping it's going to be. I think it might be intrigued because as long as like the app itself is kind of pleasant for her to look at and pleasant for her to use, it might actually be fun, right? Like I think this should be a fun experience. It shouldn't be like work. Because sort of like with the pain points, like not being engaged and skipping things, it's like, make it fun, make it witty. You know, if she laughs while she's filling out the quizzes, then like at least it's a moment that's memorable for the user. So I think she should be having fun at this point, thinking about, oh, this is what I want and blah blah blah. We don't want it to be laborious and a chore. So I'm just gonna. This might be a little bit exaggerated, but like ideally she should be like, wow, this is really cool, this is fun, I like doing this.
Yep.
It's the best time.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have, okay, it's 52 minutes, so we could spend the rest of the time on the last phase. Oh wait, we didn't talk about actually buying the gift. Okay. I think maybe, Claire, for the sake of keeping this concise, because I don't really want to compound all these different ideas into one section. Like this user journey map really should be a bit longer. But for the last stage, instead of reuse, maybe the last stage could be final use, like actually going into the real world and making a purchase. Because I
Well, when you
think,
review it too, I think like because you're buying the gift, you receive the gift, so it's like, yeah. Actually, no, never mind.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand like we want to keep everything into one spot, but I mean, I don't think we're trying to create another like Amazon per se, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think if anything, like if we want to integrate, like external, websites and sources where, the users can purchase directly from, the wish list or from the link that they posted, I think we can have that integration. But other than that, I don't think.
Yeah, like loyalty at this stage, I don't think it's necessary for this app. Like we're not, like you said, we're not trying to be the next Amazon and like try to like get customers to
Yeah.
come back again over and over for like many years. It's like, okay, it's an app that's going to help people to make decisions. They've made the
Right.
decision. Let's just go with that. And for this particular user journey map, we could go into more detail, but we just don't have time. So, yeah.
I would say too that this app can at some point morph into like, because it is, let's say, for an office, like maybe someone wants to get someone something nice for somebody on their birthday, or they're retiring. Their list might still be up, so it might be something that they might
Yeah.
benefit from. I mean, as a what, off-brand or off-brand use kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely. We could always think about like potential uses of this in the future as well. But for the sake of time constraints, we could just think about the final decision, which is like making a gift. Making a purchase, like buying the gift, and what that experience is going to be like for the user. Because they still have to make a short list, right? And actually browse through that short list and actually buy something. And that's going to be a kind of decision making that could be done through the app and then lead to them actually doing this in real life, whether they buy it online or whether they buy it in person. So you know what? Maybe we should move the short list and to-do list here, because I think that is going to be more critical to the it's going to be more relevant to the user because they're trying to make a decision by making a purchase, right? So I think that's where the short list and the to-do list will make more sense, because there's intention to buy, right? There isn't intention to buy when they are thinking about preferences, but they are going to be making that decision when they're ready to make that choice. So I think, yeah, that's why I moved it from where it was to where it is now, so that we could just focus on this area and elaborate on it. Yeah, so goal here would be also to buy a gift, because after they reviewed their matches, they're going to have a better idea of what they're going to buy, and they're just going to be ready to buy it, right? So in this case, user will be, they'll probably be on their profile or a dashboard where they have all the information about their matches. They might have links like from the person that they've matched with through Amazon and stuff like that. So they actually might be linking out to different websites. So I'm just gonna quickly put this in here. Like linking out to other sites. Right? We mentioned e-commerce, so this is probably where it's gonna happen. They're going to be looking at a wish list and then potentially going on to Etsy or something like that. So, touch points and channels, right. Touch points is also going to be how they're going to be interacting. This is going to be obviously our mobile and desktop experience is going to be here, but we could also mention outside websites like Amazon or something. Right, so I'm talking a lot. So Claire, do you want to lead for the next part and get some more feedback?
Oh, for the pain points?
Yeah, because we're almost at the 1 hour point.
Right.
So pain points. Let's just quickly just go through it. Let's just shout out any ideas that you might have on what you think could go wrong.
Probably just like very unintuitive ways to share.
But yeah, let's hear from our participants.
Yep. Whoever wants.
I think maybe I guess we have a budget and everything, but like let's say it's I don't know if it would be a pain point here, but it's like finding out too late about a gift, so like or not being able to order it, or like it's out of stock. If a person doesn't put enough, or there's like not enough info to get a good gift, it's just like now you're stuck with a few of them, but it might be a problem to actually acquire them, maybe.
Yeah, it could be a case where someone has a wish list. They're putting a bunch of things in their wish list that are over budget or under budget. Although under budget's ideal, but so let's say the price.
Under budget's better.
Yeah, exactly. But like I was just thinking, like sometimes product prices can change. Like if they added an item to their list that was like on sale, perhaps at the time that you wanted to buy, the product is no longer available. I mean, that's just a reality of just like life in general. It's like you go to the store, you want to buy something that's not available. But then that could prevent people from making an action. But again, at the same time, users are, I think they're going to be aware that this is going to be something that's going to happen, especially during the pandemic. Not everything that you want is going to be available. But having a short list is sort of like the solution, which is if option A is not available, go for option B. If option B is not available, option C, you know? So
I agreed.
Let's just go with that idea, and let me just change this into a green sticky note and consider this as maybe using the short list like as a way to make a decision.
Yeah, and they would probably need at least it has to be like maybe a threshold of like 3 or something, because I'm sure there's going to be some people who are not really interested in it and probably put one thing, and it's just like it's A, defeats the purpose, and B, it's just might be not giving people enough options to what they can realistically get or something.
Yeah, true. But then we basing understanding what we've done with the baseline quiz questions, it's like they would have some variety as to like what their likes and interests are, and then when it comes to details of what they want, um, this is a case where some people will just give hints, but they won't give you precise items that they want to send you out to buy. And then sometimes there's cases where they're sourcing things that are maybe not possible for you to get. And this is a case where the user will have to make a decision and say, hey, maybe there's other products that you think that the user might like, and you just add it to your own personal to-do list, right? As to say, hey, there's an item that I think this user might like based on their preferences, and I'm gonna put it on my shortlist, right? So yeah, thumbs up means cool. We understand. Sorry, we're going a little bit over time, but like these kind of maps, like it could easily take more than an hour, because there's just so many things to talk about. But for the most part, I guess when it comes to solvable things that we could do with our app, when it comes to the user buying a gift, um, let's just say, with all things considered, like anything that's outside of our control, like stock issues that Amazon might have, it's going to be out of our control. But when it comes to the user making a better decision on the app, we could have suggestions, because I think this was mentioned by someone from last week that after the user does the quiz, there could be a list of suggestions automatically generated based on some of their hints, right? And then that could also be useful for the user, as to say, if they don't get more information from the user besides the quiz, they actually have some randomly generated or aggregated content, at least aggregated stuff that is relevant to that user
That's
based on
really
their
good.
answers, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's put that sticky note in, and then we'll just call it a day, because I don't want to take up any more time. We're a little bit over today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to call it, but like a shopping guide, yeah. Shopping suggestions, just based on the preference quiz. Okay, cool, wicked. Do we have any questions at this point?
Nope.
Nope. How's everyone feeling?
Hot.
Hot.
Good. This was interesting. Really.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't want to like hold everyone up or anything like that, because like we're supposed to keep these things like under 2 hours if possible. So basically, the next part of this is to create a wireframe or a prototype based on some of the features that we talked about on the Kano model. So to make this easier for you guys, if you're on the Discord server, what I could do is I can give you guys sort of like an assignment sheet that basically outlines what it is that you can do for your wireframe. And or if you're not on the Discord server, I could just email it to you. That way, you have an understanding of what is expected for you for next week. I know we kind of like used up a lot of our time maybe discussing, but one of the things that we usually do is we outline very clearly what are the features that we're going to be designing and developing for wireframes, and that will be helpful for you to do for next week so that you can work on this in your own time, right? So you could use Figma, you could use Sketch, you could use pen and paper to create your prototype. When it comes to understanding what the criteria is for the prototype so that we know what we're visualizing, that's something that I will provide to you after the session. Didn't mean to run things off so tightly, but if you have any questions at all, definitely just contact me on the Discord server. I'm always around, I'm always available. And if you want to discuss the prototypes within the server as well, like if you're stuck or something, you need help, Aldo is on the server. There's some professional UX designers that are on the server. If you just need someone to look over what you're doing, so that you're not feeling lost or whatever, we could do that for you. Okay? So after this session, I think Brady wants to talk to Claire about user research. And I'm also going to remind you guys again that we also have like a feedback survey. So don't forget to click on that feedback survey and tell us what you think about this session. Okay? Oh, yeah, and the Discord link. Yeah, duh. Yeah, sorry. A lot of people here are from Discord, so sometimes I don't remember like who is here or not. But let me just give you the link so that you can join, because it'll be so much easier if we all just talk to each other on the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, like Aldo's going to be back next week, so he's going to be giving you feedback on wireframes as well. Let me just get you the link and then put it into the chat. There you go. So if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, just jump on in. It's free to join. You don't need to like pay for Discord. It's really awesome. You'll love it.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has used Slack for work, but Discord is just a much more relaxed Slack, you know, for you to hang out with people, join interest group, and network. Again, utilize this network. It's amazing. I've met so many amazing people on this server. We have a lot of like amazing designers on the servers from junior to senior level. So reach out and just engage with us. And, you know, again, if you have any questions, talk to us, ask us anything.
Yep. And I'm going to say this again. I'm going to send you guys like sort of like an assignment sheet for the prototype. So don't worry. You will be guided through every step. So don't feel like I'm leaving you off to do everything on your own. We're all in it to like help each other. Okay? Sounds good?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it.
problem. This is a lot of fun.
And Claire, you're sticking around, right?
Yep. I also just dropped the feedback survey in the chat. If you can just like take a minute to like give us like some feedback, we really appreciate it because we want to always improve these events and make it better in the future. But yes, I will be sticking around. So any questions that you have, I can answer.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming.
Yay.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for sticking around. I didn't have a lot of questions. I was just kind of curious about the process because this is like not the one thing. I mean, this whole project of working together with the sprint is the first time I've done even a sprint. But when it comes to doing the actual user research, I'm really excited to get into that, and I'm curious about just kind of your process with this and who you were able to talk to and what kind of questions you had.